Hey, what's up, people? Today we're gonna be talking about the ex2 by Dragonhawk. I bought this one recently. I was originally gonna do a review on it. Um, I actually recorded it in very bad quality, so I hope this one is a lot better. Um, and also, I didn't post it because I ran into some trouble with this machine. Not really big trouble, I wouldn't say, but as you can see, there's something going on here. And I want to talk about that because I think it's going to be very helpful with this machine if you do this trick because it's just going to run a lot more efficient. Let's go into what the original trouble was and why I put this on. It looks kind of weird, but as you can see, if I push the armature bar down, it's gonna be hitting pretty flush with the frame. And before it was gonna go much further down, maybe if I push really hard, it was even worse than this. And what that did is when I was tattooing, um, it is just spraying ink all over the place. You get terrible ink flow. Plus, if you look at the bottom where the adjustment can be made for the stroke, if you had it this far in, it wouldn't even be touching the spring. So what that basically did is there was too much forward motion going, so more forward than actually moving back and forth like how it is now. Um, so this actually made the machine run better for me. I'm not sure, maybe it's different on yours, but I think it did. So I'm gonna quickly talk over how I made these little changes on this machine. So basically, what the biggest problem is right here. Um, as you can see, I added a little washer there. You can see that. Okay. What that did is it put the spring down just a little bit more, which allowed the armature bar to go back further than it was originally doing. Uh, because it was more in a just a little bit more like that, and then from there it was hitting a lot more forward and then back to its original position. And if you look at, for example, because I know it looks a lot like the Dan Cuban, but I'm pretty sure they're not the same, but the style of the machine is a little bit the same. And if you look at his machines, um, the screws from the armature bar, so where the armature bar is connected to the frame, would be much more forward. So what that does is it's actually closer to the frame and it moves back, and then from the backward position it would move and hit the frame flush. And as you can see, this gap here, the big gap, will allow to push the armature bar much more forward, which you, well, if I compare it to a coil machine, is what you really don't want because your numbers would be off. So that's what I try to fix that problem, but you cannot really change what's happening with the armature bar, the placement of that. I don't want to drill holes in here because maybe you can see it. I try to unscrew it. It's pretty cheap material, so I don't want to mess around with that too much. So what I just did is I added a washer underneath here, so it allows the armature bar to go back forth. Um, now we now we just have one more issue because if you do that, it can still run all the way forward. So I had like actually a really cheap and weird solution. It might not look too clean, but it definitely worked. If you have yours, you would have um, three rings set up. Basically, where you see two of mine, the O-rings, the rubber bands, there would be three of them. One on top, one in the middle of these two, and one in the bottom. Keep those on because they do a little bit with the distance, so it keeps it pretty nice in place. And then I just took some duct tape and I made a little cushion first, um, and I put it right on the frame side of the machine, and then just with some more duct tape I actually put it together, pretty easy, and then put the rubber bands right in beneath, like right in between the little gaps from the other O-rings, which made it look like that. And now when it's moving, it hits the deck flush, which is good. You might not have as much throw on your machine as what it used to be, but it's still a lot more, and it will actually work a lot better. It also cancels the noise a little bit because it's not metal hitting metal anymore. You can still hear it a little bit on the springs. You can still use this little screw to adjust it a little bit. It'll just make your throw really small. But that's okay. I don't need it. I just need it a certain way, and you can always adjust it a little bit. I think what I can even do, we can actually try that in a little bit. Try to see what happens if I put another ring in between the armature bar and the back spring. Maybe because then now it's already touching and it's screwed in fully into place. Maybe if I have a little bit more space there, we'll see what happens. First, I want to show you how it runs, okay? So I'm going to plug it in. It's already on. This is only 3.6 volts, so it's pretty slow. Not much going on, but it hits really hard. It's pretty hard, especially for only 3.6 volts. Where in the beginning, if I had it like that, the spring wouldn't be touching and it would just be rattling like crazy. So let's increase the speed, just like increase the voltage just a little bit. This is pretty much around 5 volts. Pretty good. Hits really hard. You guys can hear that, probably. Overall, just looks a lot nicer in the way it's operating. Let's increase it just a little bit. 5.3. It's close to 6 volts. 6 volts. Here you go. Hitting pretty hard. You have a little bit of give, but that's nice. This would definitely be good for some lining, you know? Or at least what I like for lining. Maybe you guys don't like this for lining, but it's up to you. Okay, see what happens if we just make a little smaller throw on it. You can hear it's a lot faster. Still hitting pretty hard. This could be nice maybe for some smaller needle groupings. Maybe some softer shading. Works nice. Okay, minor problem because I was using it for quite a while. I think I used it for 1 or 2 weeks in the shop. And in the beginning I didn't find too much trouble with it. But then it's not consistent enough for me to, without this modification, to use it on a professional level, you know, because I feel a little bit embarrassed if I have to switch out my machine because something is wrong with it while I'm tattooing. I just want it to work, you know. So this just created just a little cheating. I mean, you can fix this probably in a different way as well. Just make sure you don't make it too heavy, because if it's too heavy, it will work a lot more different. Maybe it benefits it, I don't know. I just wanted to keep it light because this armature bar is already pretty heavy. So I didn't want to make it even heavier and wear the motor down, because it is a Chinese motor. I don't know how long it's gonna last. But yeah, it's a lot of fun like that. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna make a video as well of me tattooing with this machine. I'll post it in a separate video. But this is just something fun, you know, for people who are wondering if they should get the machine. I would definitely buy another one because it's really nice. even if it's straight from the bat, it works really nice. Just some minor issues with the ink flow for me when it was running too far forward. It's very similar to a coil machine. It's lining amazing. It works pretty good. It's only $140, I think, which is not too bad for a machine that actually works pretty good. You just have to make like a little fix up around here, which maybe costs you like 10 cents. So I didn't care too much for that. I think it works really nice. Yeah, just have a look at it if you want to think about some other things where you can fix it with. Other than that, pretty cool. I'll see you in the next video where I'm actually going to be tattooing with this machine so you can see how it works. Alright, peace guys.